Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is In Another World with a Smartphone, Volume 1. The title pretty much gives away the concept, and it's a great manga. It's really entertaining first volume. I'm kind of digging it. So the original story is by Patora Fuyuhara. Art is by Soto. Character design is Eiji Usatsuka. Translation is Alexander Keller-Nelson. Lettering is by Chiho Christie. So the story exactly is what it sounds like. So there's this guy named Touya Mochizuki, and he is struck down by God in an errant bolt, and he's 15. Yes, so God killed a 15-year-old by accident. That's the opening of this manga. So God decides to do the kid a favor, and since he made a mistake, he'll bring him back. But the problem is he can't bring him back where he got killed. So he's getting sent to a whole other world, and he's getting a little bit of upgrades, stronger, faster. We can rebuild them, some $6 million man action. And it's a fantasy world, but the kid is able to ask for a favor, and his favor is that he would like to bring his cell phone along. Yes, the kid is so attached to his cell phone, he needs to bring it to a fantasy world where he's going to live his second life. But there's some rules to this. So he gets access to everything in his world. He can read the news, stuff like that, but he can't message anyone. He can't talk to anyone. So he can catch up as to what's going on, but can't contact anyone out there. And this is a fantasy world, so he's going from our world to whatever fantasy world you want to make up. This is a world of magic and all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's good. It's pretty solid. Now I think what's fascinating is, one, it's a great introduction to the world. You are slowly introduced to everything. You're slowly rolled into it all, just like the main character is. And the cast of characters introduced in a nice organic way. We get to learn about the rules of the world in a nice organic way. It's done really intelligently in that way. Now, what I was going to get at is the thing I think that's fascinating is the whole smartphone thing doesn't really play into the first volume a whole lot. He's got this device that would make him potentially the most powerful being in this entire world, beyond the abilities that God gives him. But he uses it as a map. I mean, literally he uses a map quest, and that's about it. I mean, it's one of those things where you're just for it being in the title, it's just not really a huge factor in the story. But other than that, it's a nice fantasy series. And for those who've watched these videos, listen to me on our podcast, stuff like that, I'm not the biggest fantasy fan. But I think I've learned recently, especially after reading a lot of manga, or a lot more manga, is I just don't like high fantasy. There is some fantasy I enjoy, and that would be this sort of fantasy, that kind of magic, well, called the Final Fantasy vibe to it, those battle chasers, little exaggerated type stuff. I think I'm just not really into that boring kind of high fantasy sort of stuff. Give me a little bit more of action and I guess ridiculousness. It's a really good story. I think the one drawback is the whole smartphone thing just does not really factor into the story enough. Which again is kind of weird because it's kind of the title. So yeah, it's a little weird to have it in the title and then not really be much of a factor. So it is what it is. But overall, it's good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to read more when it comes out. So let's go with some of the art. We'll show it off. The art is pretty solid. It's there's nothing that really jumps out at me going oh my god, this was amazing. There's no crazy fight scenes. There's some, but there's not tons, but it's done well. It's done, I think, really, really well overall. The art is really solid. You can see some of the people that we meet along the way. So I like it. I really, really dig it. I wish there was more done with the smartphone, but as far as just this kind of weird fantasy world where a kid from our world winds up in it and has to go learn the ways, it's pretty solid. It's a fun read, nice, breezy, entertaining, and I actually really kind of look forward to seeing the second volume and see if the smartphone becomes a factor at all, because it's in the title. You think it would be a factor. Whatever. out in shops now. You can go get it. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code, tell the shops near you. No shop, no problem. We have some affiliate links. There are affiliate links, so we get a small percentage by doing that. You help support the site, so thank you. And speaking of support, I want to thank Yen Press for hooking us up this review copy and appreciate you watching. If you're into manga, if you're into comics, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading that manga and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.